What's up, Matt Pratt here, and tonight we're gonna get back to work on the Supra. I got to grind, strip all this body filler off. I want to see what kind of metal we have in here, pull it, and possibly fix it. I want to fit up this rear bumper. Same thing to this side, strip it all off. And I got some parts in the mail. I got a front lip for this thing, so I definitely want to take this bumper, strip all of the paint off of it, prime it, install the lip, put it back on the car. So stay tuned and watch me bust this thing out. Alright, before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button at the end of the video. Feel free to share it. And if you have any questions or comments, comment. Alright, I'll hit you back. So, looking at this thing, you can see I got a lot of layers of mud here. Just looking at this, I have breaking paint right here. It looks like this panel took a hit in, and all this is kind of, it has a couple wrinkles here. It's got this accordion look. It's high out here, looks like it's in right here. I want to grind all this stuff off, possibly weld a plate to this and pull it out. You can see it's kind of sucked in a little bit here. Let's compare it to the other side, because I don't have a Supra here. As you can see, it's a bug or something right there. This is flat. Looks like this side isn't that bad, besides the half-ass attempt at studs right here. Luckily all that can come off. This side though does have some distorted metal, not like the other side, and the mud seems to be kind of thick up here, maybe just so they could blend in that body kit that they had molded onto the car. But this doesn't look too bad. At least what I can do is use this side as a reference for this side, because this side, like I said, looks a little more beat up. I mean, as I look down the side here, I see some waves here, possibly a crack and some filler right there. Body filler could be failing. But anyways, let's dig into it and knock this out. Alright, I took the mudslinger to it. It's my mudslinger. I put some 80 grit on there, and actually this isn't looking too bad. I can see in this area that it's got this like accordion look where it's wrinkled, and this is in. It might be sucked in right here. They did have a ton of mud right there. They actually had fiberglass Marglass, it looked like right there. But everything else looks pretty good. I chased the filler out to where I didn't see it anymore. It does have this green polyester primer, which is okay. I feel like I don't need to strip all that off. That stuff actually seems like pretty tough stuff. I wonder what brand it is. I thought I was having some body filler issues over here, but there isn't any filler over here. It's just dented, you know, so we're good on that too. You know, I suspect that the mud stops in this area only. I thought it would have been a lot worse. So I'm gonna grab the smaller DA and I'm gonna dig out the bottom here and see what all that looks like. But so far this side looks pretty good, man. I'm pretty confident the way it came out. So awesome. And here's an example of the stuff I'm dealing with. I mean, This is no joke, some crazy filler. I mean, look at that. This is the dust from sanding. So I got a dust mask on. It's a weak one, not the one I would normally recommend, but at least it's something because I don't want that in my lungs. There is a golf ball in there, not just one, 2 golf balls in there. Yeah, you see that? I know you can barely see it, but that's what's stuck in there making this banging noise, and I have no clue how I'm gonna get that out. Like, you can't get your hand in there. I would have to cut open the bottom of this just to pull it out. Like, that's crazy. I wish you guys could see what I see in there. Trying to do my best to get it on camera. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. It might just have to be stuck in there for good. Some leaves in there. Looks like a couple pieces of tape. Looks like a sticker. Man, the stuff people leave in there. Well, maybe if I can get this quarter panel pulled out where it's supposed to be at, you know, maybe I can reach my hand in there. I don't know why a car company would make something that has a pocket like that, knowing that stuff could fall in it and you can get it out of it, you know. So it's not like they're magnetized. I could take a magnet to it. I'm screwed. Oh well. Alright, we are looking pretty good. I got this pulled out pretty good. Right here, it's starting to roll out a little bit. It's kind of where we want it. I just got to work this area a little bit. When I pulled here, it actually tore. They welded a stud in one of these holes. See, that one was kind of torn a little bit. But they welded a stud in the original hole here, and when I pulled it, all the weld and everything kind of like helped tear it. So I pulled it up here, I pulled it down here, then pulled it in the middle, and then we welded up the hole, and then I welded up the edge because the edge was, you know, getting beat up from pulling on it so hard. And now we kind of have a actual metal edge there now. So they do have a hole here, a couple holes there, probably from rivets from the other existing body kit that they had molded on here. I'm eventually going to weld these up too, grind all that flat. So what I'm going to do now is pull out my little dent puller here, and we can finesse the rest of this little stuff and down there, and hopefully we'll have a solid quarter panel that isn't sunk in anymore with barely any mud, as you can see. Sweet. And we have a mess. But the good news is there's a lot of metal here. Before when I was stripping it down, it was all body filler. So we welded up the crack that tore when I was pulling it. We welded up a couple of the holes that were here from the rivets that held the body kit on, and we have mainly all metal in this area. We pulled these dents out a little bit. This is pretty close to where the quarter panel is supposed to be at, so we're looking really good. We definitely won't have as much body filler in it as the last owner did, so that is a good thing. Alright, so next step is to work on the other side. I don't know what side is worse, that side or this side. This side, our edge looks really good. It didn't look like it, the rear body panel doesn't look like it took a hit at all. But over in this area, they had a ton of fiberglass filler. I mean, you can see on the ground that it's all sanded out. It's all into dust right now. It definitely took a hit, and they look like they tried beating it out. I don't know if they had a stud gun or a stud welder, because there's no signs of it. There might be a little hole there, but it really looks like they just went in there and tried to hit it by hand. So I'm going to take my stud welder to it and pull it out a little bit more. Most of it comes out, and I'll just have a light coat of body filler on it. So I have my stud welder over here, and I just made a couple pulls. I think they had an oil can issue right here. What oil can is if you ever heard of oil can, it's a can and the walls of the can are flimsy, so you can squeeze the oil out and it makes this weird noise. Sometimes the metal gets like that. It's not like that now. I wish I would have had a video of it before, but I think they had an oil canning issue and they couldn't get the metal to stay out, so they just filled it full of fiberglass. But you can see, you can find a couple sweet spots. That metal's flimsy for a reason, and if you can find out what can support that metal to keep it out by pulling on it, you can stop that oil canning issue, and we did. It was flopping around, and now it's, you know, pretty solid, like a solid quarter panel. I still have a ways to go. I still have a bunch of low spots all through in this area, so, but we're getting there. It's not as bad as I thought. Alright, here's our quarter panel. As you can see, no more mud. We pulled out these dents as much as we could. It's definitely nowhere near perfect. The other side is actually better than this side. This is actually going to take a little bit of filler, but I won't need to use any fiberglass filler or need to put the filler on too thick. We cleaned up back here pretty good. I still have a couple holes here I got to fill with the welder from when they riveted the body kit on. But the one thing I do want to do is test fit this rear bumper first before I go any farther, because who knows how out of shape both of these sides could be. But the bumper will sort of tell us. The bumper is aftermarket. We have to take that in consideration, but it should give us a ballpark idea of how we look back here. So let's go get this bumper. Alright, this little eBay $100 lip doesn't look bad, and it comes with hardware and everything. I don't know how it fits up to the bumper, but you know, my first impression is it actually looks pretty good. Now it's a TRD style front lip, man. Yeah, it's only $100. And yeah, it's fake, but this is a budget build, not a real build. Duh. And here's our rear bumper. Now, if you watch the other episodes, I already had a rear bumper, but my friend had to borrow that rear bumper, so his bumper came in the mail, and I took this one since my car won't be done for a while. So let's open it. Okay, we have our fiberglass OEM style Supra bumper. First glance I noticed it's got a little crack here. No big deal, I can take care of it. All my corners look good. Top looks good. Doesn't look bad at all, so I guess we'll see how it fits. Alright, she's on there. Taillight gaps look pretty good. Up here looks really good, nice and tight. These taillights aren't in all the way either. So the edges of the bumper kind of like pop out a little bit, but if I hold it up there, they actually seam really well, like they should. I'm just gonna have to really figure out how to mount it really well in here. I don't even know how to get up underneath there, or how I had to look it up online to see how they take these bumpers off. So this side over here looks a lot worse, and it's not because the quarter panel is still in, because the quarter panel looks really good, because if I push this bumper up against it, it actually fits pretty damn good. So it's just a fiberglass bumper that's probably been sitting and spread out a little bit, so that's how it wants to sit. But overall, I'm satisfied with it. I mean, the price that I paid for it and the job that it's going to do is definitely worth it. So. Alright, it is the morning. Worked till about 2 last night, and I'm ready to get back on this, where we left off at. The bumper is good where it is. I have to find out how they fasten this. I might throw something temporary in there for now. Probably just drill this hole out, put a clip in there, and just it's on there. So the next thing I want to jump on is installing this front lip. So but before I install the front lip, I want to take the entire front bumper back off, get off all that crappy paint, and prime it. So, but first, I need to clean this place up. I mean, this is a mess. So let's do that. I love getting little stuff like this. This thing was only like 10 bucks off Amazon, and I'm gonna mount it to right here, and it's gonna hold a lot of my air tools that can fit in between the spaces, so they ain't taking up so much room in there. I might be able to actually get my hammers, which I keep down there and there. So I like taking these cheap little tool carts. This tool cart was only like 50 bucks off Amazon, and you know, having it nice and organized and holding all my stuff. I'm not a fan of big toolboxes. I feel like they're not mobile enough, you know, for being like more of a body technician. So I always stick with like little cheap tool carts. Plus, everything around here is like cheap, handmade or whatever. Like, you don't need that much money to work on cars. You know, there's so many cheaper tool companies out there, and it's good enough to do the job, you know, as a hobby. So let's install it. Looks so much more organized. Just gives it a good feel. So And I have enough room to put a couple more hammers in there too, so I just have to relocate them. They are hiding from me at the moment. Anyways, alright, back to work, get back to cleaning. It's crazy that besides all these leaves, this is like what my quarter panel was made of. So, pretty gross. Not anymore. Alright, I think I got my holes lined up. I use a marker and a little measuring device, just a old zip tie and another marker just to determine where I'm actually going to put the hole at. So, come over to our trusty little tool cart with our new tool rack. Comes off pretty good, a little tight. Alright, we have the bumper just mounted in the center here. I just put some clips in there. It fits pretty good with the taillight here and the taillight there. Even in this area, it fits pretty good. I'm really happy with this side. I can see that if I just press the bumper right there, the seams look really well. Maybe have to add a little filler to this gap here. I'm not scared of that. Our overall quarter shape looks really good. What it was all smashed in really bad right here. Most of it's pulled out. It is definitely ripply. It's definitely gonna need a light coat of body filler, but the overall structure is stiff and it's still there. So now onto this side. This side doesn't fit as well. I'm definitely going to have to make some modifications to the fiberglass to get it to, you know, fit a little better. Which is no big deal. I'm not scared of. I mean, this is a $300 bumper shipped to my door. I mean, it saved me hundreds of dollars. If you've ever seen how much Supra bumpers actually go for, even used ones go for huge amounts of money. But the one thing I did notice is the quarter panel. All this stuff looks good and it's solid metal, but in here, man, it just dips in a little farther. See if I can get a good angle on it. It dips in a little farther than this side. I don't think it's supposed to do that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put the stud welder on it and pull on it a little bit and see what happens. That might have been just a little buckle from being hit so hard down here. So I'm gonna pull on it and see if I can get it, see how easy it comes up, and see if we can get this to come out a little bit. It might even help the shape around here. That looks a lot better. Still feels like it's maybe a hair in, but my taillight gap looks good, the trunk gap looks good, this bumper gap looks good. Could need like a light coat of filler just to make it match like the other side, but I think that's as close as I'm gonna get it for now. So, alright, I'm gonna do a little bit more sanding on this, just feathering this kind of stuff out, and then I'm gonna roll the car backwards and we can start working on that front bumper. so I started stripping this bumper and I realized that it had a little dent in it that already had some filler in it. I started to dig the filler out and I realized that it looked like someone tried to shave the tag holes just with regular filler, and you shouldn't do that. So I'm going to grind up this backside. I'm going to throw some 3M semi-rigid plastic filler in there, and I'm going to actually shave these tag holes kind of right. Might as well do it before I prime it. This one, maybe it's this one. Alright, this is all pretty much Supra hardware for the bumper. It's labeled too, it says R right there. Cool. Anyways, we got the bumper pretty much sanded pretty good. I took off all of that dead paint. Started reaching actually decent paint, so I have no problem priming, sticking paint over top of that. Looks like it's held up pretty good. Did something real quick, shave the tag holes. Just something real quick, and it looks like they already tried to shave the tag holes in the first place, so I might as well, without a backing. So I might as well have tried, I might as well have did it with a backing. Looks pretty good. Good enough for now. So anyways, let's grab this front lip. And I think that is going to mount up to that somehow. Looks like this bumper needs to be a hell of a lot wider. And I think what goes on the inside of this bumper is some brackets. Goes on the inside of here. I think those are here. And then I think all we do is this lip kit gave me some pretty decent hardware. I mean, that's some pretty good looking hardware. And I think I just, squish this between the hardware and have the lip under there. So I'm trying to decide whether I should prime the bumper first or try to lip on. Bumper has to get primed regardless, so let's get some primer on this bumper so it's all one color, and then we can throw that lip on. Alright, so got this bumper on the rack. The good thing about priming today is I gotta prime this. This is the Porsche. I'm actually gonna start knocking this out this week. The guy came today actually and took the windows out. One of the things I've been waiting for, and I should have other parts coming for it so I can get back on this thing, start knocking it out. Alright, our bumper has primer on it and it looks really good. And I got a chance to prime the Porsche too, and it looks really good. A little bit of blocking that I did, you can still see the shine on it. Looks pretty good. Got a couple of the little waves out. If you want to know more about the Porsche, feel free to check out the other videos that are on my channel. But anyways, back to the Supra. So yeah, this looks really good. It's only been about 10 minutes. Wife is cooking dinner. I'm gonna go eat some food, give this about an hour, and then I'm gonna come back and we can install that front lip and then put it back in the car. All right, it's been a good few hours. I wanna check out this bumper. Hopefully it's good enough to touch. Oh yeah, it feels great. Looks great. So got a little pinhole there. Not a big deal. It's really good. This thing looks really good too. Primer is really satin looking, but looks like no real waves. That looks good. All right, let's get this bumper put together and on the car. So I actually just put it back on this stand. I think this stand will be the easiest way to mount up the front lip because it can hold it up in the air better and I can get my hand behind there instead of sitting like that. So yeah, so anyways, I think like this is the mounting hardware. I just spilled all over the place. But this is the mounting hardware that came with the lip. It's actually decent hardware. This Supra hardware is very like old, like this bolt's even cut. So it's good that it came with new hardware. I just got to get all of these things out. But that hardware was beat. I just kind of need this track. I need this brace right here to support the bottom of the bumper to help smash it all together. So I'm glad it came with new hardware. So this hardware, this is what the bolt runs into, and they like smash them in there. I guess because they had issues with them spinning. So what you have to do is pretty much put some leverage on it, twist it like that, and then you can pop it out. You know, for an eBay front lip, this thing actually fits pretty damn good. I'm actually kind of impressed. I mean, that fitment is not bad at all. You know, I will say I'm gonna repaint this thing, and I'm still gonna keep it satin black, but I'm gonna sharpen up these lines a little bit and around the edges. But overall, man, like that does not look bad. Let's get this thing on the car and check. She is starting to look like a Supra again. Can't believe how much that front lip did for this entire car. I mean, she's actually looking like a Supra instead of some Fast and Furious fan car. Anyways, pretty excited about the quarters. I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of filler in them. That metal pulled out great. Still looking for a back window. And I'm also looking for this rear quarter panel trim. I'm gonna try to see if anyone has that used or how much it costs brand new. Bumper looks pretty good. Excited about that. The next step on this thing is I gotta get it running. This body is buttoned up as well as I need it. You know, that body kit I had on there, I just could not take it anymore. So, well, that's enough for tonight. I gotta get to editing. If you like this video, feel free to share, comment, like, and if you're new to my channel, subscribe. Feel free to check out my other videos on the Supra and get caught up, and also check out the other videos I have on my channel. I have a couple other cars I like to work on, and I work on them periodically in here. So anyways, and get to editing. I'll see y'all later.